welcome to the channel. Today I'm bringing you a review of a 2022 Chevy Silverado 1500 Custom. And what's unique about this truck is this is the first full-size truck to come standard with a 4-cylinder. So it's got a 2.7 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. This is new to Chevy. It's got, not only does it have variable valve timing, you can actually change cam settings and run on 2 cylinders when you're on the highway. It's got a unique turbocharger. So they've put a lot of work into this motor. And you know, your first thought's going to be a 4-cylinder is not going to haul around a 5,000-pound truck. But this 4-cylinder makes 310 horsepower and 348 pound-feet of torque. So it's on par spec-wise with the base V6s that come from Chevy and Dodge. And in 0 to 60 time, this is actually faster than the base V6 in the Dodge, or sorry, the Ram, the base V6 in the Ram, and the base V6 in the Ford F-150. So you're not lacking in power, and the power rolls on pretty early. You're hitting about 1,500 RPM, and this thing wants to go. Now, it does take some getting used to here in a turbocharged 4-cylinder out of a full-size pickup truck. But if that doesn't bother you, this is a good and powerful option to get you down the road. Fuel economy-wise, I just drove this truck about 600 miles. On the highway, I was averaging about 17 miles to the gallon, which I was kind of surprised. I've driven recently a Nissan Titan with a 5.6 V8, and on the highway, I was getting about 20 miles to the gallon. Now that also has a lot more power than this does. I personally would have the V8 because, you know, it sounds good, more power, more fun. However, for the first time in a full-size truck with a 4-cylinder, this is definitely a valiant effort from Chevy. The 8-speed transmission shifts very smoothly, and it doesn't hunt for the gears, which is nice. And the ride on it's pretty nice too. I mean, full-size trucks are starting to ride like, you know, SUVs and cars almost these days compared to, you know, older, the way trucks used to ride growing up. When I was bombing around in a 1979 Dodge Power Wagon, it did not ride nice at all. All right, so we're going to try a 0 to 60 test. I have it in drive. I don't really have too many shifting options here. Traction control is off. And let's see what we get. I also need to turn start and stop off so the truck will be running. Here we go. All right, we got 7.67 seconds. All right, so let's take a look at the interior of this 2022 Chevy Silverado Custom. I noticed that this, we've got our 4-wheel drive buttons over here. It only has 2 high and 4 high. This truck does not have 4 low, which I find strange. It looks like it has a hill descent control. And the other thing that I found strange is it does not have any kind of volume controls. If you want to control your trip meter here, you have to reach inside the dash here to play with the button inside the gauges, which I haven't seen on a vehicle in a long time. It does have the ability to manually shift your transmission, push button start. It does come with Apple CarPlay. Just a few buttons here on the dash. It does not have dual climate control. It does come with lane departure assist, the automatic shut the start stop, and it has up here in the dash, it has a little set of red lights right here that will blink if you're about to hit someone. So pretty basic on the inside. You got a charger port, and then you have an AC port, which is nice. And then, of course, power windows and electric locks. You do have your OnStar buttons up here. But overall, it's a pretty basic interior. I think that there are some other trucks that come a lot better equipped on their baseline. I mean, they at least have volume controls. I just can't believe that they still make vehicles that don't have that on there. The plastic, I mean, again, nothing fancy. I think there's better interiors. The Nissan Titan has a better interior. The Dodge has way nicer interior. This truck does have the 6-seat option. It's got a center cubby hole, a few little things here, a couple cup holders, and then of course you can pull it up and the seat belt's built right in. And there's also somehow, oh, storage underneath the seat just by this little lever here. So you do have some storage options here. I do love the floor mats that came from the factory. They basically make it like they cover all the carpet on the floor. Let's take a look at the back. So with your seats folded up, they just pop up. You don't have to pull a lever, and then you just pull on them to get them back down. You have tons of room back here to store stuff. I mean, this is the size of trunks in some vehicles. So this is really nice. It keeps your place to lock things up and keep them safe. The seats themselves, you just pull on them and they pop right back down. Plenty of leg room, even for an adult. So I've got tons of room. I can push my feet almost all the way straight out. You know, this is more than most vehicles, most cars have. There's plenty of room. Seats are fairly comfortable. You're not sitting up super straight like you are in my Frontier, which has a lot less space in the back than this. So this being a 4-cylinder, we got to do a sound test just to hear what it hears like. So we're in the cabin. Definitely can hear that turbo whistling. So as with most engines today, all you see is a bunch of plastic. You definitely have room in here. I mean, your radiator's mounted a good almost 2 feet in from the front of the truck. You really can't see much besides plastic. So one of the advantages of putting a 4-cylinder in a truck this size is you do save quite a bit of weight. I watched one of the engineers speaking upon that, and I know it was several hundred pounds that they saved, which, you know, makes the whole front of the truck a lot lighter. And I think you can notice it in the handling. I mean, it definitely feels, you know, more nimble than a truck this size should. I mean, you can still tell that you're driving a full-size truck, but you know, having that much less weight definitely helps the handling of the vehicle. And when you're driving the truck, there's pretty much always a little bit of a turbo whistle, if you can hear it there. And then when you get on it, of course, you hear it a little bit, quite a bit more. The transmission shifts down pretty quick there, so woo! Some big bumps there. That's where you notice that you're driving a large vehicle. When you're hitting big bumps, and you get those 20-inch wheels bouncing, or if you hit a big dip like that, you know, it handles well enough to be deceptive when you're going down a smooth road, and then you hit a big bump like that, and, you know, then you remember pretty quick that you're driving a behemoth. So I'm probably in a pretty high gear right now, so I'm going to stomp on it, and it'll downshift several gears and take off. There we go. I think 2 gears down, and then it puts you right in that turbo band, and it'll take off. So, cool engine design. I mean, if this was in like a little rear-wheel drive sports car, man, it'd be awesome. And I'm sure the fuel economy would be better when you're not hauling 5,000 pounds. But I haven't seen that big of a difference in fuel economy. So, you know, like I said, I drove a V8 Nissan Titan and got better fuel economy than what I got in this. And I'm not sure what the reason for that is. I think this motor, you know, it has to shove a lot more fuel and air in the engine to make that kind of power out of 4 cylinders, and I think that's part of what's not making it as fuel efficient as you would think out of a 4-cylinder. Come on, traction control. So it's not super quiet either. I mean, you definitely hear it. And it's not what I would call a particularly pleasant noise. Definitely doesn't sound as good as the V8 and the Ram Rebel, or the V8 and the Titan, which has a really good sound. But again, it just depends on what you're looking for. This does have a little bit lower of a tower rating than the V8, but you know, that's to be expected.